Hi, this is Vicki with Learning Home Volunteers, and welcome to our learning session on fairy tales. Fairy tales are children's tales about places far away and unknown where magical things might happen. Princesses and princes live, and strange creatures live who may be good or bad. Most involve a lesson for the listener, and all were originally told from one person to another in the oral tradition that was in place before we could all read and write. We have chosen three fairy tales which appear in many cultures worldwide, and some are told a little differently from one nation to another. Let's take a look. Our first book is The Three Little Pigs. Mr. and Mrs. Little ones have grown, and now it is time for the pigs to make their way in the world. Of course, mother and father both warn them about the big bad wolf and remind their children to care for each other. Our next fairy tale is a tale of a shoemaker trying to make a living for his family, making shoes. His work is hard and it is time consuming. But one day he gets some help. But from whom? Our last story is about a boy named Jack. He lives with his mom, and they struggle to keep themselves fed. Jack is told that he should sell the cow for money to be able to buy food. But what does he do? He buys beans. Oh, we'll have to hear what happens then. So let's take a look at our first activity. Activity number one. There is nothing like being a hero of the story for a child, and felt stories can actually make that happen. Using felt pieces and a piece of felt on the child's lap, you can retell the story of the three little pigs, and the children can act it out with all of the felt pieces. So when the first little pig builds his house of straw, the child can have the pig make a house of straw piece by piece. So to do this activity, you want to watch the video of the story and then have the child animate the characters to match. By the end of this exercise, everyone will be huffing and puffing like the wolf does until the house falls down. This is activity number two, huffing and puffing. In your box, you're going to find a piece of paper, number two, and in this activity, we're going to actually find out if you could even blow a house down, even if your lungs were as strong as the wolf's. So, like in all of our experiments, we want to make a prediction and then try it and record it to see what happens. So, what will you choose in your home that is most like straw? Grass, straws, something else? Do you think you can blow that across the table? Well, we can't wait to find out what you guessed and what actually happened. This is activity number three, pigs in the mud. In this activity, we're going to make some mud and let our pigs play away. We're going to wash them so they get all clean, and then we're going to try using a stick to write in the mud itself. Practicing washing, whether it be the child cleaning themselves, wiping a table down, cleaning up spilt water, are all good practice for children. And we thought we could incorporate this home skill into their play. So in your box, you're going to find a box with three pigs and some cocoa powder. You want to add some water and mix it up until you have a great mud puddle that a pig would love. Do you know why pigs love mud puddles? Well, they use the mud to keep themselves cool, and it prevents them from getting sunburn. Who would have thought a pig could get sunburn? Well, once your child is done in playing in the mud with their pig, you find a little yogurt cup marked with the number three. You can fill it with water, and they can wash the little piggies until they're pink and clean. Once the mud has no pigs in it, we thought you could actually try writing. So in your box, you can use, the stirrer stick that's in there, and get out your letter cards and let them practice some letters. Sounds really fun. Um, well, they could do that letter writing either with their finger or that stirring stick with an example of a letter nearby. I suggest it above the tray, unlike what we see here. You could also, if you have a beach trip planned, try writing in the sand. Or if you're expecting some rain, get out a stick and write in the mud that's sure to come. Well, that's all it is for this week. Next week we will read The Shoemaker and the Elves.